Ginger is a staple in kitchens worldwide, prized for its unique zing, warming aroma, and remarkable medicinal properties. However, many home gardeners who attempt to grow their own often find themselves disappointed, staring at a pot of stunted, woody roots that look nothing like the plump, juicy rhizomes found at the market. The common misconception is that ginger is a temperamental tropical plant, requiring professional expertise or a perfect climate to thrive. In reality, the secret to a massive, successful harvest doesn't lie in luck or having a green thumb, but in a handful of strategic, often overlooked steps. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the science of ginger cultivation. We will move beyond the plant and pray method to a results-driven approach that covers everything from selecting high-potential rhizomes to mastering moisture levels. Whether you are a city dweller with a balcony container or a backyard enthusiast, these proven techniques will transform your gardening experience, ensuring your soil yields thick, aromatic, and abundant ginger. We are going to break down the process into 3 critical phases: preparation, active growth management, and strategic harvesting. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? And what time is it right now? Leave a comment below. I can't wait to see your answers. The ultimate success of your ginger garden is determined long before the first sprout breaks the surface. It begins with the genetic potential and physical health of the starting material, the rhizome. Many beginners make the mistake of picking up any random piece of ginger from the pantry, only to be met with weeks of silence from the soil. To ensure a bountiful harvest, you must look for the gold standard in a rhizome. A high-quality starting piece should feel heavy for its size, firm to the touch, and exhibit a smooth, slightly shiny skin. Most importantly, you are looking for the eye's small, horn-like protrusions or light-colored nodules. These are the growth buds. Each one represents a potential stalk. The more healthy eyes a rhizome has, the more robust your plant's structure will be. A critical, yet often ignored factor is the distinction between organic and conventional grocery store ginger. Conventional ginger is frequently treated with sprout inhibitors, synthetic chemicals designed to extend shelf life by keeping the plant in a state of forced dormancy. If you plant treated ginger, you are fighting an uphill battle against chemistry. The rhizome may sit in the soil for months without ever waking up. Organic ginger, however, is free from these growth-blocking agents, meaning its internal biological clock is ready to tick at the moment it hits favorable conditions. Always prioritize organic certified ginger, and better yet, source seed ginger from a reputable nursery specifically meant for cultivation. Once you have selected your prime rhizomes, they require a specific wake-up ritual. The first step is deep hydration. Soaking your ginger in room temperature water for 8 to 12 hours rehydrates the internal tissues and signals to the growth buds that the monsoon season has arrived. To take this a step further, I highly recommend adding a small amount of hydrogen peroxide to the soak, about 1 teaspoon per cup of water. This acts as a gentle but effective sanitizer, neutralizing invisible fungal spores or bacteria that could lead to rot once the ginger is buried in damp soil. Finally, do not rush the planting. After the soak, let your ginger air dry on a clean surface for 24 to 48 hours. This allows the cut ends or bruised areas to callus over. This hardened, corky layer acts as a biological shield, preventing soil-borne pathogens from invading the fleshy interior of the rhizome. By following this meticulous pre-treatment process, selecting organic, soaking for vitality, sanitizing for safety, and callusing for protection, you are effectively front-loading your success and eliminating the most common causes of ginger failure. Even a perfectly pre-treated, high-quality rhizome will struggle to thrive if it is placed in an environment that works against its natural growth habits. One of the most common mistakes home gardeners make is choosing a pot based on aesthetics rather than the plant's biological needs. Ginger is unique because it is a horizontal creeper. Its rhizomes spread outward just below the soil surface, rather than growing deep into the earth. Therefore, when selecting a container, width is far more important than depth. For a successful harvest, I recommend a pot that is at least 12 to 14 inches wide and about 8 to 10 inches deep. If you have the space, an even wider rectangular trough or a large fabric grow bag is ideal. Providing ample horizontal real estate allows the rhizomes to expand freely, leading to those thick, multi-fingered clusters we all desire. Drainage is another non-negotiable factor. While ginger loves moisture, it absolutely cannot tolerate wet feet or standing water. If the soil remains waterlogged for too long, Oxygen is cut off from the roots, and the rhizome will inevitably rot. Ensure your chosen container has multiple, large drainage holes at the bottom. To prevent these holes from clogging over time, you can place a thin layer of gravel or a piece of mesh screen at the base before adding your soil. The secret sauce to a massive ginger harvest, however, lies in the soil composition. Standard garden soil is often too heavy and prone to compaction, which suffocates the developing rhizomes. Instead, aim for a nutrient-rich, well-aerated medium. A pro-level potting mix consists of 2 parts high-quality potting soil provides the basic structure and moisture retention. 1 part aged compost adds essential organic matter and introduces beneficial microbial activity that helps break down nutrients. 1 part perlite or coarse sand ensures the mixture stays loose, promotes drainage, and allows air to reach the roots even after heavy watering. Before you start filling your pots, consider adding 2 specialized amendments: bone meal and wood ash. A spoonful of bone meal per pot provides a slow-release source of phosphorus, which is the primary fuel for root and rhizome development. Think of it as the engine for your ginger's growth. Meanwhile, a light dusting of wood ash adds potassium, which strengthens the plant's overall vigor and improves its resistance to pests and diseases. By meticulously engineering this environment, you are creating a tropical sanctuary that mimics ginger's natural habitat, setting the stage for explosive growth. Now that your container and soil are primed, the actual planting process requires a delicate balance of precision and patience. Unlike many root crops that thrive deep underground, ginger is a shallow-dwelling plant. The golden rule here is to plant your rhizomes no more than 1 to 2 inches deep. If you bury them too far down, the emerging shoots will struggle to reach the surface, depleting the plant's energy reserves and increasing the risk of the rhizome rotting before it even sprouts. When placing the ginger in the soil, ensure the growth buds or eyes are facing upward. This simple orientation allows the shoots to grow directly toward the light, saving the plant critical energy during the initial germination phase. If you are planting multiple pieces in a large container, give them elbow room by spacing them 6 to 8 inches apart. Overcrowding is a primary cause of small, underdeveloped harvests. Once your ginger is tucked in, don't leave the soil bare. Mulching is an essential strategy that many home growers skip. By adding a half-inch layer of straw, dried leaves, or fine wood chips, you create a protective blanket. This mulch serves a triple purpose. It retains vital soil moisture, regulates soil temperature during cool nights, and protects the shallow-growing rhizomes from being scorched by direct sun exposure. In cooler climates, this thermal regulation can be the difference between a plant that sprouts in 2 weeks and one that stays dormant for a month. The next pillar of success is mastering the art of watering. Ginger is a thirsty plant, but it is also highly susceptible to drowning. To find the perfect balance, use the wrung-out sponge analogy. The soil should always feel damp to the touch, but should never leak water when pressed. Instead of following a strict calendar, use the finger test. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it's still cool and damp, wait another day. For those looking to truly level up their harvest, I highly recommend the bottom watering technique. Instead of pouring water onto the soil surface, place your pot in a shallow tray of water for 20 to 30 minutes. This allows the soil to wick up moisture from the bottom, which has 2 transformative benefits. It keeps the surface dry to prevent mold and fungal gnats, and it encourages the roots to grow deeper and stronger in search of water. This strategic approach to planting and hydration creates a resilient plant, capable of producing the massive, high-quality rhizomes you're aiming for. Once your ginger has successfully sprouted, it enters a high-energy growth phase, where the quality of care directly dictates the final weight of your harvest. Managing light is the first hurdle. Many gardeners mistakenly treat ginger like a sun-loving desert plant, or, conversely, hide it in deep shade. Ginger thrives in the sweet spot of bright, indirect light. In its native tropical habitat, it grows under the dappled canopy of taller trees. To replicate this, place your containers where they receive gentle morning sun, but are shielded from the harsh, scorching midday rays. If you notice the leaf edges turning crisp and brown, or the green color fading to a washed-out yellow, your plant is likely suffering from light stress and needs more shade. Conversely, if the stems are leggy, stretching tall and thin with sparse leaves, it is a cry for more light. Nutrition is the second pillar of advanced care. Ginger is a notoriously heavy feeder because it is tasked with building dense, nutrient-packed rhizomes underground. It requires a steady supply of fuel. During the active growing season, I recommend feeding your ginger every 2 to 3 weeks with a high-quality liquid organic fertilizer. My personal pro tip is to use compost tea. It is gentle, rich in micronutrients, and introduces beneficial microbes that improve soil health. If you use commercial fertilizers, be wary of high nitrogen formulas. While nitrogen encourages beautiful, lush green foliage, too much of it will distract the plant from its primary goal, rhizome development. Look for fertilizers with a higher ratio of phosphorus P and potassium K, which are the essential building blocks for thick, aromatic roots. Finally, you must respect ginger's tropical heritage by managing the climate and humidity. This plant is a lover of warmth and moisture. The soil temperature should ideally remain at or above 180 degrees Celsius for optimal growth. If you live in a cooler region or are starting early in the spring, using a seedling heat mat underneath your pot can dramatically accelerate development. Furthermore, ginger detests dry, stagnant air. If you are growing indoors or in a dry climate, the surrounding air can sap moisture from the leaves faster than the roots can replace it. You can easily fix this by lightly misting the foliage with water every few days, or placing a shallow tray of pebbles and water near the base of the plant to create a humid microclimate. By fine-tuning these 3 elements, light, food, and air quality, you are providing the high-octane environment ginger needs to reach its maximum genetic potency. Even with the most meticulous care, challenges may arise. Being able to read your ginger plant is the hallmark of a successful cultivator. If your ginger hasn't sprouted after 3 to 4 weeks, the most likely culprit is soil temperature. Ginger is biologically programmed to remain dormant if the soil is below 21 degrees Celsius. If warmth isn't the issue, you may have inadvertently used a rhizome treated with growth inhibitors. In this case, starting over with verified organic stock is the most efficient path forward. Yellowing leaves are another common distress signal. While it is natural for leaves to yellow at the end of the season, premature yellowing usually points to drainage issues or nutrient deficiencies. First, inspect your pot's drainage holes to ensure they aren't blocked. If the soil is soggy, reduce your watering frequency immediately. However, if the soil moisture is perfect, your plant is likely hungry for potassium or magnesium. A quick dose of liquid seaweed or a balanced organic fertilizer can often restore that vibrant green luster within a week. If you encounter rhizome rot characterized by a foul smell or mushy texture, you must act fast. Remove the affected sections, allow the remaining healthy rhizomes to dry out, and replant them in fresh, well-draining soil. The most rewarding phase is, of course, the harvest. One of the best-kept secrets of ginger growing is the sneak harvest, or partial harvest. About 4 to 5 months into the growing season, you can gently move the soil away from the edges of the container to locate young, baby ginger. These young rhizomes are bright pink, have no tough skin, and possess a mild, delicate flavor. You can snap off a small piece for immediate use and cover the rest back up. The plant will continue to grow undisturbed. For a full harvest, patience is your greatest ally. You must wait 8 to 10 months until the lush green stalks begin to turn yellow and die back naturally. This is the signal that the plant has redirected all its energy into the rhizomes, concentrating the essential oils and gingerol that provide its signature heat. Once the foliage has withered, dig up the entire clump, shake off the excess soil, rinse the rhizomes gently, and let them air dry for a day. For long-term storage, ginger stays fresh in the refrigerator for several weeks, but freezing is the ultimate pro tip. Frozen ginger remains flavorful for months and is significantly easier to grate. Finally, always set aside your largest, most vigorous rhizomes as seed for the next season. By selecting for the strongest genetics year after year, you will eventually develop a house strain of ginger that is perfectly adapted to your specific growing conditions. Growing ginger at home is more than just a gardening project. It's an empowering journey into understanding the subtle rhythms of a truly remarkable plant. Throughout this guide, we have debunked the myth that ginger is a difficult, temperamental diva of the garden. Instead, we've revealed that success is simply the result of strategic preparation and attentive care. By mastering the 3 critical phases: meticulous pre-treatment, engineering a horizontal-friendly environment, and exercising patience during the long harvest cycle, you are no longer just planting, you are cultivating with intent. The difference is palpable. When you finally pull that heavy, aromatic cluster from the soil, you'll realize that the flavor, heat, and texture of homegrown ginger far surpass anything found on a supermarket shelf. Gardening is a continuous learning process, and every rhizome you plant is an opportunity to refine your skills. Don't be afraid to experiment with your soil mixes or humidity hacks. The most successful gardeners are those who observe, adapt, and grow alongside their plants. Now that you have the complete blueprint for a massive harvest, it's time to get your hands in the dirt. Your journey toward